15 classic Hollywood actors who died way too young. Karen Capsonet. Karen Capsonet was born in 1941 and died in 1963 at the age of 22. She was murdered. Capsonet had a brief acting career during the early 1960s, known for The Little Shop of Horrors in 1960, The Gertrude Berg Show in 1961, and G.E. True in 1962. 6 days after the assassination of John F. Kennedy, her body was found at her home in West Hollywood. She was found nude, laying on the couch. Coroner concluded that, due to the fracture of the hyoid bone in Capsonet's throat, she had been strangled. Her death was officially ruled a homicide and is still unsolved. James Dean. James Dean was born in 1931 and died in 1955 at the age of 24 of a car accident. James Dean redefined what it meant to be cool on screen. He is remembered as a cultural icon of teenage disillusionment and social estrangement, as expressed in the title of his most celebrated film Rebel Without a Cause in 1955, in which he starred as a troubled teenager, Jim Stark. Dean died in a car accident on September 30, 1955 in California when he was involved in a head-on collision with another car. Peg Entwistle. Peg Entwistle was born in 1908 and died in 1932 at the age of 24. Peg Entwistle was a British stage and screen actress who found success working on Broadway in New York. But the one film she acted in, 13 Women, wasn't released until after her death. Entwistle gained notoriety after she jumped to her death from the H on the Hollywoodland sign in September 1932. She left a note in her purse which read, "I am afraid, I am a coward, I'm sorry for everything. If I had done this a long time ago, it would have saved a lot of pain." The cause of death was listed by the coroner as multiple fractures of the pelvis. Olive Thomas. Olive Thomas was born in 1894 and died in 1920 at the age of 25 of poisoning. The silent film actress, art model, and photo model went on to star in more than 20 films over the course of her 4-year film career. In September of 1920, Thomas and her husband, actor Jack Bickford, traveled to Paris for a second honeymoon. After a night spent partying at the bistro in the Montparnasse quartier, they returned to the hotel tired and intoxicated. Thomas entered the bathroom and accidentally ingested the mercury bichloride, which was prescribed to her husband for syphilis. The label on the bar was in French, and she may have mistook the medicine for something else in her compromised state. After drinking the liquid, she screamed, "Oh my God," and Pickford rushed to assist her. She was taken to the hospital, where she died 5 days later. Her death was ruled accidental. Sharon Tate. Sharon Tate was born in 1943 and died in 1969 at the age of 26. She was murdered. During her prime, the 26-year-old was a burgeoning star in the industry. Sadly, all of the promise was for naught in the end. The American actress was one of serial killer and cult leaders Charles Manson's victims. On August 9, 1969, Tate was found dead in the home she shared with husband, director Roman Polanski. She was 8.5 months pregnant and was murdered alongside 4 other friends. The 3 main people who actually committed the Tate murders, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel, and Tex Watson, were all sentenced to death. None of them were executed though. Manson spent 4 years in prison before his death in 2017. Jean Harlow. Jean Harlow was born in 1911 and died in 1937 at the age of 26 of a kidney failure. Jean Harlow is known for her portrayal of bad girl characters. She was the leading symbol of the early 1930s and one of the defining figures of the pre-code era of American cinema. A number of somewhat bizarre and physical ailments had sidelined Harlow from acting. Unfortunately, her condition got worse due to severe misdiagnosis, which led to her passing in 1937. In the doctor's press releases, the cause of death was given as cerebral edema, a complication of kidney failure. Thelma Todd. Thelma Todd was born in 1906 and died in 1935 at the age of 29 from poisoning. Silent film star Thelma Todd, nicknamed Hot Toddy and the Ice Cream Blonde, appeared in about 120 feature films and shorts throughout her 9-year career. Slapstick comedy was her forte, as she often starred alongside Wheeler and Woolsey, Laurel and Hardy, and the Marx Brothers. Todd owned a restaurant with her lover, film director Roland West, and his wife Jewel Carmen, called Sidewall Cafe in Los Angeles, California. The three of them also lived in the same duplex above the restaurant. On the morning of December 16, 1935, Todd was found dead in her car parked in West's garage. The garage was closed and the car was running. She had a broken nose, 2 cracked ribs, and bruises around her throat. The coroner determined Todd died of carbon monoxide poisoning, and the case was declared as accidental with possible tendencies. No charges have ever been laid regarding Todd's 1935 death. Carol Landis. Carol Landis was born in 1919 and died in 1948 at the age of 29. She took her own life. Actress and singer Carol Landis was known as the Pink Girl and the Chess because of her curvy figure. Her breakout role was as the female lead in the 1940 film 1 Million BC from United Artists. Landis began a relationship with actor Rex Harrison, who was then married to actress Lily Palmer, and the affair became an open secret in Hollywood. Landis was reportedly crushed when Harrison refused to divorce his wife for her. Unable to cope any longer, she committed her home by taking over of Seconal. Harrison was the last person to see her alive, having had dinner with her the night before she committed suicide. According to some sources, Landis left 2 notes, one for her mother and the second for Harrison, who instructed his lawyers to destroy it. Virginia Rappe. Virginia Rappe was born in 1891 and died in 1921 at the age of 30 from ruptured bladder. Model and silent film star Virginia Rappe died in 1921 after attending a party with actor Roscoe Ferry Arbuckle. She was invited to the party at the St. Francis Hotel in San Francisco when she suffered a trauma and was taken to the hospital. 4 days later, Rappe died from a ruptured bladder and secondary peritonitis. Witnesses at the party claimed Rappe was subject to a violent assault by Arbuckle, while others claimed the actress died from complications associated with a venereal disease. After 3 manslaughter trials, Arbuckle was acquitted in 1922 of Rappe's murder. Carole Lombard. Carole Lombard was born in 1908 and died in 1942 at the age of 33 from a plane crash. Actress Carole Lombard was particularly noted for her energetic, often offbeat roles in screwball comedies. In the early morning hours of January 16, 1942, Lombard, her mother, and Winkler boarded a plane to return to California from Indiana. The plane crashed in Las Vegas, and all 22 aboard, including Lombard, her mother, and 15 U.S. Army soldiers, were killed instantly. Jayne Mansfield. Jayne Mansfield was born in 1933 and died in 1967 at the age of 34 from a car crash. One of the leading sex symbols of the 1950s and the 1960s, she was the first major American actress to appear nude in a motion picture. In 1967, Mansfield was involved in a deadly car crash. Her 3 young children in the back seat survived with minor injuries. One of those kids turned out to be actress Mariska Hargitay. Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was born in 1926 and died in 1962 at the age of 36 from a drug overdose. Marilyn Monroe remains one of the biggest sex symbols over the last 100 years. She was a top-billed actress for a decade, and her films grossed $200 million by the time of her death in 1962. Her interests also included being involved in high-profile relationships, like Joe DiMaggio, Arthur Miller, and John F. Kennedy. On August 4, 1962, Marilyn Monroe died in her Brentwood home due to a drug overdose. Her housekeeper and psychiatrist discovered Monroe naked in bed with an empty bottle of sleeping pills nearby. Lupe Velez. Lupe Velez was born in 1908 and died in 1944 at the age of 36 by suicide. The Mexican-born actress was pregnant when she committed suicide in 1944 by downing sleeping pills and brandy. In her note addressed to her then-married lover, Harold Drummond, she said she would rather die with her baby than suffer the shame of raising him as an illegitimate child. Sal Mineo. Sal Mineo was born in 1939 and died in 1976 at the age of 37. He was murdered. Actor Salvatore Mineo Jr. was best known for his role as John Plato Crawford in the drama film Rebel Without a Cause in 1955, which earned him a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor at age 17. After parking his car in the carport below his West Hollywood apartment, he was stabbed in the heart by a mugger. He died immediately. Leonel Ray Williams, a young pizza delivery man with a long criminal record, was convicted and sentenced to 57 years in prison for killing Mineo. Williams was paroled in 1990 after serving 12 years. Barbara Payton. Barbara Payton was born in 1927 and died in 1967 at the age of 39 from heart failure. Actress Barbara Lee Payton was best known for her stormy social life and battles with alcoholism and addiction. Payton's hard drinking and hard living ultimately destroyed her physically and emotionally. On May 8, 1967, the 39-year-old former starlet was found on the bathroom floor of her parents' house, dead of heart and liver failure.